And welcome back. Let's pour another one, shall we? This is Aram with Refined Nature of Santa Fe, where we teach you how to refine and redefine nature using epoxy resin woodworking techniques. And in this video, we're going to be showing you how we transform this old, bowed, unstable piece of RV tabletop and transformed it into this beautiful replacement. So thank you very much for tuning in, and let's get right into it. We're using this old piece of plywood that we had lying around, and we're going to go ahead and sand it down to 40 grit. This is mostly to rough up the surface of the plywood a little bit for the primer that we're going to be using on top. And this is the product that we're going to be using for this project. Let's just make sure to get it everywhere. Enjoy the B-roll. Now, keep in mind, we're going to be using this piece as a replacement for the initial piece that we tore out of this RV. And we chose to go with a copper color because we felt that it would match the interior of the RV a little bit better than the last one. And the shop foreman makes his presence known. Now, after about 20 or so minutes, once the primer has finished drying, we go ahead and take it back into the house. And as you can see, it's not a super exciting piece of wood right now. It's a little bit dull, but we can see the color is already coming through pretty nicely. And once we add a bit of epoxy and a little bit of touch, it's going to really stand out. And here are just a couple of the tools that we're going to be using to actually complete the project. Obviously, we have Upstart Epoxy. They are our go-to for all of our projects. Guys, if you haven't given them a try, link in the description for a 5% discount. We really stand by them and highly recommend their product. And they also have the mica powders, so they've got their pigments going as well. Now, onto the pouring. We're actually going to be doing 4 quarts in total, so 2 quarts of the Part A epoxy and 2 quarts of the Part B. Now, once we have that all figured out, we go ahead and put our white powder pigment, mix it up with our mixer, usually a couple of minutes, and then we go ahead and just apply onto the copper surface. And the reason we decided to go with the white epoxy is because we wanted to tone down the strong copper color that was coming from that primer. You know, so we wanted it to be a little bit more subtle, a little bit more natural looking inside of the RV. So this is why we decided to go with white. And you know, we just want to make sure to apply the epoxy everywhere. We use a Bondo spreader here. And we actually wanted to try using a little bit of spray paint and just mix it on top and just kind of see how that would look. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out the way we wanted to. The alcohol quickly binded into the heavier epoxy, and it kind of created this jet stream look, and we weren't a huge fan of it. So in an effort to accentuate the jet stream lines that we had already created, we went ahead and mixed up a bit of epoxy in some small plastic cups with the dark brown and black pigments in order to contrast with the white. And this is really the fun part, guys. This is where we can really just start creating however we want. And, you know, this is what people really love about doing this epoxy work so much is that it allows you to be creative, and you do have that creative freedom. We do use the heat gun here to create these kind of cool effects, and you know, this is really what we love about the epoxy making process. Is there's so much creativity, there's so much freedom to be had when actually making these projects. So if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below and let us know, what would you do differently? You know, what types of colors would you use? What types of designs would you incorporate? And with that, I'm gonna let you enjoy this creative B-roll, and I will see you shortly. Now, what we did here to achieve this kind of granular granite look is actually using a bit of alcohol in a spray bottle and spraying it on top of the piece. And this helps to separate the epoxy and gives it kind of this really cool granite look. And you know, a lot of people will do this on their countertops, in addition to, you know, colors that complement their houses, and this helps to actually achieve that. So that's kind of a little pro tip there, is the alcohol actually is a powerful agent that we use when creating this, as you can see right here. And you know, obviously we used quite a lot of epoxy, so you know, there was quite a bit that actually leaked over, so we're just using that to make sure to coat the sides as well, because that helps to create a more natural look, is when the epoxy kind of bleeds over a little bit on the sides, and that just creates the feeling of uniformity with the piece. And we wanted to make sure that the piece fit in with the RV that we're going to be putting it back into. Also, you may have noticed that we were using a mixing stick to scrape the underside drops from the excess epoxy. You know, this is one way to solve that issue. However, we usually recommend just wait till it dries and then sand off the underside bubbles afterwards. Saves you a lot of time, and it comes out a lot cleaner that way. Alrighty guys, we are just about wrapping up here. We're actually sanding those underside bubbles, like we just mentioned, and as you can see, it just comes out way cleaner. And these pieces here were taken from the original assembly that we threw in the garbage, simply reassembling, and boom, there it is. Wow, what a difference, guys. We're pretty excited with how this one came out, and you know, we're just really excited to see how it looks in the RV. What a difference. Let us know, guys, what do you think about this? You know, what do you think about the process? What would you have done differently? You know, we hope that you gain some value from this, and that maybe you can try something like this on your own furniture. You know, leave any comments or questions that you may have down below, because we do respond to each and every single one of them. You know, we're out here trying to help you guys master these epoxy resin woodworking techniques. And, you know, this is something that we had been wanting to do for quite a while, because that old one was just really ugly. And gotta say, came out pretty awesome, guys. So again, thank you so much for watching. We are very grateful for any likes or subscriptions you want to send our way, because as long as you keep watching, we will keep producing. And we can officially say this video is Shop Foreman approved. Thanks again, guys, and we will see you in the next one.